Tohle je příběh o člověku jménem Stanley, který mačká tlačítka v kanceláři 427. A to je všechno, co potřebuješ vědět. To je všechno. Dámy a pánové, jdeme na to? Let's go. Kráso. Let's go. Jako, doufám, že to má pořád ten stejně famózní dubbing, jako měl originál. Pokud se to teda podaří zapnout. Kamera? Můžu prosím obraz, výborně. Tak, ano. Hrál si Stanley Parable předtím? Počkat. Tak teďko mám říct, že ano nebo že ne? Je tam nějaký rozdíl? Já když dám teda, že ne, když dám, že ano. Dobře. Já možná trochu vytáhnu zase brightnessu, protože vím, že to je si lidi mají problém. Teďko jsou 2 hodiny. Jo, dobře. PM. Kam se dává PM? Dobře. Teďko jsou 2:09 PM, jo? Tak, jdem na to? Ježiš, kámo, tohle to bude hrozná. Já možná já nechám to FOV stejný, ono je to úplně totiž jedno. No, všechno vypadá, že je úplně v pořádku. Tak přátelé, je svátek práce. Jdeme na to. Let's go.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-crushing, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow.
Yes.
No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Tak. Takže teďko nám nepřišlo nám nic a my teďko. Ježiš, kámo, ta grafika je o hodně lepší, ty vole. Jdeme teďko zjišťovat, co se děje. Jsou správně hodiny? Nejsou, že jo? Pak kdyby ten dubber byl dokonce i v Black Mesa. Aha, tak to je hustý, ty vole. Co se stane, když ty odejdeš? Nemůžu vám to ukázat.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
GG, první ending. This is a story of a man named Stanley. Tak, jdeme dál, ty bláho. Jdeme teď teda zjistit, co se děje. Jestli vůbec něco. Já jsem se jako vybavil...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Jo. Já tak půjdu prostě podle narátora, nebo jste viděli ten základ, jo. Jdeme jako tam najít meeting room. To je... Místnost na meetingy, tak ta bude... Tady? Kde pak je ta mrcha, ty vole?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Narátor mi říká, že mám jít doleva. Tak kam půjdem, čete? Takže čete! Levá nebo pravá? Poslouchám. To jsem zvědavý teda. Doprava? Dobře. Počkej. Zpátky? Zpátky už jít nemůžu, to už je zavřený. Dobře, tak já půjdu doleva. Já půjdu doleva a pak uvidíte, jo? To se z toho zblázníte. Let's go. Není čerstvá, ano.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
A až říkáme, až vypne ten meeting room, tak mi z toho máš špatně, ty jo. Jak vyřešit problémy se spolupracovníkem? Používání slajdů, aby si ujistil zaměstnance, že všechno je v pořádku. Buď si jistý, že tvůj slide má pořádnou modrou grafiku. Všichni jsou unikátní, hlavně ty. No jasně, ty vole, ano, přesně tak. Ano, přesně tak. Monetize free to play? Čuráce, jdu pryč. Nesnáším svoji práci. Aha. Tady je klozet?
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Okay, tak já se vrátím zpátky.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Teďka má být nahoru, přesně tak. Výborně. A ta je teďko tady, ale je to taková ta červená velká místnost, že jo? Tady? Tady. Yes.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
Nikde žádný lidi.
Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him.
Okay.
And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Dobře, děkuji. Ach jo.
Stanley just sat up, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Počkej, to se jen tak povedla ta grafika normálně. A teďka najednou se otevřelo něco, že? A my jdeme zjistit, co se tady vlastně děje všechno. Ano. Já mám pocit, že ten týpek bude všechny vypravěče v angličtině, to je sám možný, no. Tamhle je výtah a tady myslím, že nic není, že jo? Jo, tady je výtah. Let's go. To je Half-Life 3, ano.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself. to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Jdi zpátky nahoru. Já vám čete ukážu ten normální první ending, protože se to vůbec neznají, abyste věděli, kam nás to povede, a pak půjdeme dělat ten zbytek.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Escape. Escape. Přesně tak. Takže jdeme do Mind Control Facility. A teďka najednou. Blesk.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold?
Yes.
Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Tak. My projdeme dál. A teď to tady prolezeme a zapneme kamery, jo?
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen.
Yes.
And Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Přesně tak. Žádná svoboda, alias normální kancelář. Normální kancelář, přesně tak.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Jest přesně tak. Tak, pak půjdeme měsíčko.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Mě fakt chyběl ten dober, tyjo. Tak a tohle je to...
Here was the proof. The heart of the operation.
Yes.
Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. Yes. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Tak zatím asi všichni chápou, jo? Jakoby tohleto je ten první ending, ten základní, že prostě Stanley se najednou teďko zbudí, nepřijdou mu žádný rozkazy a taky co se děje. Nemůže najít žádný lidi a narazí na tuhletu Mind Control Facility, kde teda zjistí, že vlastně všichni lidi v tomto baráku tak byli pod vlivem a nějakýho Mind Controlu. A je rozlobený a teďko se rozhodne, že to tady prostě všechno vypne a zničí. Tak, teď se akorát musím vzpomenout, jak se to kurva dělalo, tyjo. Kde pak jsou ty kontrolky? Tady? Konzola vypnutá, tyjo. Nic. Offline. Activate power. Je fakt, že už jsem to opravdu hodně dlouho nehrál, ty bláho. Takže mám přijít do těch dveří. No jasně, to je vlastně vypnutý, že jo. 5. Nefunguje. Zatím. Mind controls idle, awaiting input. Tak.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Tak, a teďko to vypnem. Najednou tma.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes.
Yes.
He had won.
GG.
He had defeated the machine. unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Yes.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
No, už se chápeme? Tohle to je ten úplně základní ending. Úplně základní. A teďko tohle to je absolutně nic oproti všemu. Protože teďko vy najednou víte, že jste to prošli a teď si říkáte, kam to nemůže být všechno. A teďko jdeme dále explorovat, co se tady stalo, že jo? Protože ty nevíš, co se tady děje, proč tu seš, kde jsou ostatní a tak dále, že jo? No, tak jdeme dál zkoumat. Ježiš, kámo, já jsem takhle to zapomněl.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Yes.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
No a teďka co můžeme udělat, tak je to, že teďka nebudeme poslouchat toho narátora.
Jsi
A půjdeme
úplně
dál.
retardovaná. Úplně. Já jsem úplně nahej. Úplně.
Tak. Teďka půjdeme tady do toho forku.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
A teďka půjdeme doprava, že jo? Zkusíme to?
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Yes.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Employees lounge je co? To je odpočívárna? Říkám to správně? Můžu to zkoušet trochu víc překládat, no ale ono to není tak jednoduchý, jak se zdá, no. Tak to je odpočívárna.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring.
Yes.
It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Já kámo úplně vidím tu místnost a normálně cítím ten smrad z těch spolupracovníků, jak tady vždycky všichni kouřili a chlastali tu kávu, ty vole, a říkali si, jaký to je.
Really worth it being here
Já
in the
jenom
room.
vidím ten gauč a cítím ten smrad prostě z toho.
That even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Tak jdeme dál teďko. Nostalgie přesně.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Stanley se vrátil a vzal dveře, které má po levici. Ne. Jdeme doprava. Tak.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
OK, v pořádku. A teďko najednou jsme, tohle je nějaká, myslím, že nákladní rampa? Penalizace za používání výtahu $1000. Penalizace za skočení mimo výtah $5000. Neskákejte z výtahu, kdy se hejbe. Umřete. Počkat. Nemá ten výtah náhodou fungovat?
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, Stop trying to make every decision by yourself. I'm not asking for me, I'm
Bylo by
asking for
možné, že by si
her.
zahrál starou trilogii T. Když už si hrál starého Wolfa.
Ale já si chci zahrát starého Týfa,
Samozřejmě,
ano.
až nebude vycházet tolik nových her.
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Počkat, o kom to mluví? To nebylo v originále, ne, tohleto? Ona čeká? Ona? Čete, prosím vás, kdo mi napíše do chatu spoiler, tak dostane normálně podržce, jo. Jo, opakuju. Nedostanete permu, já si vás najdu a dostanete ránu. Jo, říkám to specificky, jo, prosím ne, děkuji, žádný spoilery. Fakt hrál jsem to před 8 rokama. Zapomněl jsem toho spoustu, jo. Tady je nějaká nákladní cesta. Počkat. Proč je tady taková tma?
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Já to nebudu stěšovat. Kurva, si to úplně zapomněl, tohleto.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
No a teďko nám ukáže, co se tady vlastně reálně děje, že? Přesně tak.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Dead Man Stanley. Dobré ráno, zaměstnanče 427. Zmáčkněte N na klávesnici. NN.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Brzha.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
To je jako normální práce tohle.
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Kamo, to je fakt úplně děsivý to, jak to vlastně zní strašně divně, ale reálně takhle vypadá normální zaměstnání, že? No to je fakt je to úplně šílený. Press L to watch TV.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Press here to spend time with the boys. Okay.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
To vlastně je spoiler na ty dva endingy, co tam jsou, že jo, později, ano. Zmáčkni L, abyste řekl dětem příběh.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Řekni ženě, že jí miluješ. Press H.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Yes. Press Y to go to sleep.
And I'm trying to tell him
that
in this world he can never be anything but an observer. That as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Mám ho zmáčknout? Prostě ho nezmáčknu. Prostě ho nezmáčknu. Ona ta hra mi to donutí, co? Já to musím zmáčknout, že jo? To je čurák. To je smrt.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Press T to question nothing.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again.
Please
and
die.
Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Konec. No a tohleto je vlastně úplně obráceně ten jakoby nejhorší ending. No. Tak a teďko. Je tady někdo, kdo ještě pořád jakoby vůbec nechápe, co se děje? O to taky není zase tak těžký. A to první jste viděli, že prostě Stanley zjistil, že se něco děje a vylezl ven, spokojený. A tohleto je ta obrácená verze, kdy Stanley zjišťuje, že je dost možný, že se tohleto všechno děje v jeho hlavě. Už se chápem? A teďko najednou vy nevíte, jestli tohleto okolo vás je realita, anebo není. A jdeme dál explorovat.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
A jdeme teďko pokračovat. Je to ještě spousta věcí, co tam tady chybí, ty vole. Ježišmarja. Zavřeno. Fort Vent je taky zavřeno zatím ještě pořád. Awaiting input. Počkat. Input received. Vážně? A. Tak se dá něco mačka s vámi má ani nevěděl, ty jo? A, dobře. Jaký je rozdíl mezi normální a Deluxe verzí? Normální verze není hotová. New content! Počkej, co? Aha, dobře, a tam půjdeme později. Jo, new content se tady nechám připravený, to mě zajímá.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No a teďka to vezmeme zase doprava. A budeme to alternovat.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Yes.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes. This room.
Tak
what a view, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No a teďko. Já můžu teďko jít doleva. A já se člověče pamatuju ještě jednu věc. Já nemůžu v té hře skákat, ale jsem si na 100% jistý, že tam dole pod tím výtahem je nějaký content.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Já když skočím tady dolů na tu platformu, tam určitě něco je.
I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
Já jsem
I
tím nastaven
realize that
jistý.
investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
Tak,
There's
pojď,
someone
Klaude,
you've
pojď.
been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Dej mi šanci. Dej mi šanci, jo. To se dá nejsem moc jistý. Tohle je zavření, že jo? Tohle je na kartu. A tady pod náma je ta nakládací stanice. Danger everywhere. Ježíš, kámo, tohle bychom mohli dělat merch. Tak, teďka projdeme. 2B1. A teď to pokračuje. 2B3. 2B, jakože by to bylo druhý patro?
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Stanley šel červenými dveřmi. Ne?
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
Modrá?
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
No to jsem kámo úplně zapomněl. Otoč se. Kámo. Oni jsou tady další modré dveře.
All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
Holy shit. Tak to jsem ani nevěděl, že tady takováhle věc je.
You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Ceiling Light Office Space. Já si vybavuju, že toto myslím, že bylo i v originále, že tam byla taková nehotová developerská místnost, jo. Zeď Office Space. Zeď Office Space.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Opravdový kritický feedback. Dáme třeba 2.
Oh, well, now this is useful. You didn't like it, but you didn't totally hate it either. You enjoyed it, perhaps is the correct term. It didn't cause you excruciating pain. Big steps we've made here today, Stanley. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
The Stanley Parable Worldwide Leaderboard. Endingy, zavření dveře. Víš, že akorát 3% hráčů si vybralo modré dveře? Víš, že 98% hráčů je atraktivnější než Stanley? si objektivně 9300 z 9300 hráčů worldwide. Proč se nezeptáš kamarádů? Error, friend list empty. Mám takový pocit, že týpek po mně chce, abych šel otevřít ty druhé dveře. A když se vrátím teďko semka.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
Dobře, tak dáme schválně 5 teďko, jo.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you?
To je to dítě?
Let me boot it up.
To je to dítě?
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Já tam se zastavím, vysvětlím vám, jo. Tohleto je speciální ending, když tohoto mačkáte 4 hodiny v kuse. Nedělám si prdel. Za 4 hodiny je z tohoto speciální ending. Ale jakoby na to fakt nemám nervy, jo. No. Krásný zvuk, že jo? Dobrý.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see.
What do
we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot. Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower.
Nebyl tam náhodou dřív Minecraft? Že tam byl dřív Minecraft, že jo, v tom originále? Jo, byl tam, no. Já jsem také úplně překvapený, říkám, WTF, Firewatch.
Perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Ta hra vypadá normálně takhle. Ty krásně, to tak musím zahrát. Aha, tady se dá normálně jít ven? To je nová verze, ano, tohle je nová verze.
Oh no, it can't be.
Can't be. Počkej. Já můžu normálně odejít ze hry pryč?
It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off. Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You nearly wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. Out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
To je Rocket League.
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design.
This is
Stanley,
game design.
If you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed.
Prostě když hráči nemají rádi tvoji hru, prostě
Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together.
Yes,
I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
Let's go. Kámo, to je zábava. To je možná lepší než originál tohleto.
Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Stanley, I have a thought, and I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure, then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience. I'm going to try it out. Here comes another ball. Yes! Oh goodness, that really does feel amazing, doesn't it? Stanley, I'm like a child in a confectionery shop. I simply have to have more. I'm insatiable.
Kámo, to je úplně geniální. Víc míčů se rovná větší zábava. Taková FIFA s 5 míčema, ty vole.
More balls!
Dobře. More balls, to zní něco jak moje bývalá tohleto. Jakože možná too many balls, ty vole.
Are you enjoying this, Stanley? Are you having fun? Is this a real video game?
No,
well, I sure hope you're having a good time, because guess what? It's over. That's right. Your little fun comes to an end. This is my game, and what I say goes. You get to have fun when I let you, Stanley. Besides, you need someone like me to set boundaries for you. Without rules or boundaries, video games are nothing. Yes, that's what I am. I am structure. I'm your sense of purpose. And since you decided you didn't want to play my game, now I don't want to play with you either. So, goodbye, Stanley. I'm leaving. See how you like it when I'm not around to set the rules. Somehow, I don't think you'll enjoy it as much. But who knows? You're an inventive kid, you'll come up with something. After all, you're the one who knows best. Take care, Stanley.
On mě tady prostě nechat? On mě tady prostě nechá. To je čurák.
Hold on, what are you doing? Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you.
Wow.
How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
No a tohle bylo i v originále. Tohle to je jakoby nehotová část hry. Work in progress. Work in progress, flink kabinety a tak dále. A teďka akorát přemýšlím, co se tady do prdele dalo dělat, tyjo. A! Holy shit. Uh, 509, moment. Tak tohle si už nepamatuju vůbec třeba. Tohle je prostě nehotová část hry. Je to se pojďná hrozně moc portál. No, to je takový těžký, jako porovnávat to s čímkoliv. 4, 2, 3. Klaběko se čau, foface, tam co na ostatní, komentáte sobě, děkuji vám. A děkuji Kamil. Yes. A toto je moje kancelář. No ale tady nic není, je to akorát tma. Ty kráso...
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon.
Ještě otázka, jaký, ty vole.
I can wait.
Oni to je vážně nechá vtít mě. Yes. Jako je pravda, že ten ending byl jakoby úplně extrémní, že jo? Tak já to přátelé vidím, že jdeme, teďko jsme červený dveře, ne? Let's go!
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
I nebo se vás, když tak já ještě řeknu, jo. A vy, co jste hráli třeba Undertale, tak víte, že ta hra je perfektní v tom, že se to mění podle toho, jak vy tu hru hrajete. Ten narátor postupně mění to, co říká, a to vlastně ukazuje to, že to, co se všechno děje, tak se děje za sebou. Postupně. New content dveře, ty ještě budou.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art.
Yes.
What was it about this room that called so deeply and so personally to Stanley? But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really?
Let's go.
I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Tak a teďko půjdeme těma červenýma teda, jo? Já to dělám dvakrát špatně a půjdu do těch červených.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Okay, půjdeme tady červenýma teda, jo?
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me.
Let's go!
Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Aha.
What do we want? What are we looking for?
Toto si vlastně pamatuju.
Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy.
Co to je za psycho
I
ending
actually
tohleto?
feel happy.
What the fuck, kámo? Meditace.
No, wait. Where are you going?
Tady jsou nějaký namalovaný zdi.
Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
Když umřeš, tak se ta hra resetuje a ztratíme to. Čeče, já mám pocit, že toto je část, která fakt nebyla hotová.
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
Přátelé, doba je zlá. It's time.
No! Oh, thank God you lived.
What?
You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can you please get back to the other room?
Já jsem fakt přežil? Skoč to znova, já vím, já se posledně ještě něco k tomu řeknu teďko. Zelená.
There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we stop moving, we just have to stop moving.
No, to se vrátíme zpátky. It's time.
Stanley, go back. There's nothing good that can come from this.
Ty krávo. Jako fakt ten narrátor je neuvěřitelný.
No, what do you do? Do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you?
Nic. Gifty mi 100 subů a pobavíme se. Přátelé, it's jumping time.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
What the fuck?
My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
Takhle jsem se kámo, nějak si když se hrál biomutanta, ty vole, ano.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
Vrát se zpátky? Takže on teďko změnil tu místnost, jo. Podívám se tam schválně. Ta hra třeba byla daleko lepší, než jsem si myslel. Hele, Stanley Parable je naprostý masterpiece. Všechny ostatní hry, jako je třeba ta hra s tím tlačítkem a tak dále, to jsou kopírky. Malinký kopírky.
Do you actually want to stay alive? Or are you just teasing me?
Oh. Kouličky.
I wanted us to be happy here, Stanley. I really did. I still thought that was possible.
Mamute, čau, vítej zpátky, kámo.
To skakanie je ok. Vy jak ma bolelo sledovat to chodenie po schodoch.
No, tak když teďka jsem 3krát spadl, tak je to jasný, jo. Ježíš, tam jak má fakt zajímá, kolik je tady kontentu, ty vole. Znamená to, že může skočit dolů v tom skladu? Já mám pocit, že ano. Kam jdeš, Petře? Jdu to ukončit. Ty barvy by si Adam neužil, to jo no. Ver barvy. Přátelé, prosím, toto neskoušejte doma. Děkuji.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
A jsme zpátky. Zkusíme teda ten výtah a dolů? Zkusíme. Když už to děláme, tak to prostě uděláme systematicky.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself. That's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
Počkat. Jdem dál. Dejte nový content, ještě ne. Je tady toho ještě pořád spousta. Nový content ještě vydrží chvilku.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time understood true happiness. Then the feeling went away, and he felt sad again. Then it came back, and lingered for a minute or two. Now it's only half there. Just a kind of, tingle.
Okay.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Tak přátelé,
Stanley was so
jumping time
bad at
znova,
following
jo?
directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
Tak
Look,
schválně,
Stanley,
jo?
I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not, but in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
What? Je to, že tady je fall damage a tam není? Holy shit. Musí zkusit na tu dodávku, určitě?
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all. Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition.
Vážně? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks.
Vážně?
No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
417. 417? Počkat. To ještě pak taky poskoumáme. 417. 4... Kde jsou do pedele dveře 417? 420. To bylo, on řekl 427? Jakože na moje dveře? Ne, nefunguje to. Najdeme je, no. Někdy tady musí být ty zvrdi. Bedogu, ahoj bratře, děkuju. 415. 4B3.
Čau žaludy.
Mysnul si je. Ne? Ah.
Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
Vážně? 437. Proč kurva to číslování nedává vůbec žádný smysl? 437. 428. Ah!
Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so.
Nesnáším ho. Čtyři, 1, 5.
Now, back to door number 437.
To je čurák. To je čurák. To je čurák normálně. Takže to bude aspoň hodně XP.
Let's see. How about you click on, well, I don't know, the copy machine?
A na tiskárnu mám kliknout. A tak kde? Tady?
All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere. Okay, now go climb on employee 419's desk.
Prosím. Mám jak mám vylíst na...
Yes! This is great! You're putting it all on the line, Stanley. I like that. All right, let's keep it up. Go give me a few clicks on door 416.
Počkat, 416? Kam to je obegalul? Kámo, jako v té týdce se bude ztrácet úplně každý, jo. Tady je 415. Existuje vůbec dveře 416? Ne, taky ne. Tohle to děláš, protože 416 jsou new content dveře, to jsou tyhle ty dveře, jo. Aha. No tak přátelé, jdem na to, no. Taky ne, vole. Za roh se podívej. No, ale za který roh, vole? Zajímavý, ty bláho. No já teda třeba budu muset jako takhle projít. Projít asi dál, no. OK. No, budeme teda teďko asi dál contentově. 417 bez skla to jsou. No ty dveře tady prostě nejsou. Nejsou tady prostě ty dveře. No tak jo, tak jdeme dál.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Tak a teďko. Jdeme to dělávat ještě teda jednou tu část.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Jaký číslo? No hledáme 416 hledáme. Říkám to správně? Udělej pravý ending, to už máme hotový. 4B9. 449.
Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, giddy in a way he had never known before. Was it this room? A connection between the two? Could a man love a room? I mean, truly, deeply, madly, love.
Může člověk milovat místnost, no tak když člověk může milovat trošku hlubu, tak
yeah, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Tak a teďko. Teďko konečně teda uhneme a půjdeme sem.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door and got back on track.
A tohleto je náhradní nákladní výtah, že jo? A na této druhé straně počkat. 412, 413. Čtyři jedna dva. 411.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Já jsem se ztratil, já si tohleto vybavuju z originálu, já jsem se tady ztratil a teď jsem vlastně akorát prošel mezi těma jednotlivýma dveřma sem, že jo. Tak uděláme tady asi broom closet ending, ne?
No, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Já tady můžu vážně stát? Počkat. OK, stojím v místnosti. Semka se chodí honit, to je pravda. Dobrý, jdeme chcát. Let's go. Odcházím.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
No a já jsem ještě kámo nebyl dole, že jo? Kámo, já jsem ještě nebyl tady dole. Firehose. Co je tady za papír? Zajímavé.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
What the fuck?
And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it...
Moment. Too much vrstvy, jakoby klid, jo? Klid. Ahoj Denisy, ahoj bratře, děkuju.
Tak jsem rád,
děkuju.
že si zase back a mám na koho koukat, jinak přeji hezké nedělní odpoledne.
Přeji i vám.
All very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams. The truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
Takže není to sen, je to normálně realita tohle.
Speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin. the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
To si děláš, prdel.
Stanley began screaming.
To si děláš.
Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Tohle si nepamatuju.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
What?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Cut. Ty bláho, tak tenhle ten ending se fakt nepamatuju, upřímně. Vlastně toto bylo potvrzení toho, že to, co se děje okolo nás, tak je skutečně reální všechno. Ale je jakoby otázkou, jestli to je vlastně v nějaké simulaci, anebo není. No dámy a pánové, jste připraveni na new content?
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted.
OK, tak přátelé, it's time. Prosím, only poggers. Jdem na to. Nový obsah.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
Dobrá otázka. No a... Tohle je zavřený. Tady jsou ty dveře skurvený. Aha, jasně. Počkat. Vážně?
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers.
Vážně?
After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home
Doslova
computers.
tu hru teď hraju.
The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
More smiley face.
Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Tak to jsem také zvědavý na ten Ultra Very Pok Deluxe Poggers content. Let's go.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
Výtah? Výtah?
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content.
Let's go.
I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
Let's go. Doslova sjedeme pro nový obsah.
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if, Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Tak, content?
All right, let's see, it's the jump circle?
20 euro. Neuvěřitelný. OK. A to je všechno prostě. Bože, to je obří update, to tak v původní se dalo skákat, že jo?
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
Musí být, no.
Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh wait, there's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
Nový obsah? Co je tady pod tím? Tma.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
To mě vážně zajímá, kolik tam toho kontentu reálně je v té hře. What? Co se stalo? 427? Počkat. 4-3... Moment, kde to jsme?
Psst! Stanley!
Ne!
Come over here! In the vent!
Já nechci jít
I want to show
ventou.
you something!
Já nechci jít ventou. No tak dobře, no tak já teda půjdu tou ventou, no. Ach jo.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be.
Dobře.
So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
Tak show me. Jaký máš insight info, Stanley? Nebo pardon, narátoře, ne Stanley. Now we Skyrim. Holy shit.
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
Okay. Memory zóna. Tohle si pamatuju, to bylo v originále, že jo? Tahle místo tam
You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity.
To je bohužel
Back
pravda.
then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Za těch 10 let, jak ty hry šly do prdele postupně, ty vole. Vím, že ještě jedna podobná zóna určitě někde v této hře je. Zone Sweet Zone. Toto je Steam page. Kolektorka Stanley Parable. Audience Award. British Academy Film and Television Arts Stanley Parable. Ježíš, kámo, oni normálně přeškrtli to Last of Us a dali tam Stanley Parable. To jsou fakt čuráci. To jsou, what the fuck, brácho, jakože, toto bych si fakt nedovolil jako udělat teda, jo, zrovna u Last of Us. Ale jako dobrá práce, kámo. Deserved. No, jako to jako se záleží. No, tady jsou fotky z originálu. Moje první polibek, moje první auto. Stanley Parable. I remember. Holy shit. Smile because it happened. Jak ještě vyšly čete jiný hry v roce 2013? Kromě Last of Us. Ježiš, kámo, tohle je achievement, go outside, GTA 5, no jasně. Ten achievement čete mám. Ten achievement mám na originální verzi. Jako to byla prdel toto na farmit, jako jo. Unachievable, ano. Jak? Hele, funguje to tak, že ty máš každou vteřinu máš 1:5 milionům šance, že ho dostaneš automaticky. A jsou lidi, co ho dostali za hodinu, a jsou lidi, co ho nemají do teďka. Ukaž ho.